students are receiving awards for their projects on environmental protection. The prizes are sponsored by an oil company and the Environment Ministry. The junior minister is a champion of measures to protect the world we live in.
We want to reduce carbon dioxide emissions by 40% by 2020. Parliament has already passed legislation about a 35% reduction. We are the first country in the world to take this path, and we shall continue down it. It is environmentally necessary, also in terms of the labor market.
Germany is famous for its fast cars. The trouble is, their powerful engines produce large amounts of carbon dioxide, too much. The car makers don't want strict restrictions on emissions to be imposed. In fact, their lobby group is fighting EU moves to limit emissions. They argue that German jobs are at risk.
We have an 80% market share of the premium vehicle segment. 50% of the jobs in the German car industry depend on that premium segment. We're working to reduce the emissions of our large cars, but you cannot expect the same results as with smaller cars, for example. The trick is to reduce CO2 emissions and increase fuel efficiency in all segments. Not only in small cars, but also in larger ones.
From the perspective of the lobbyists, the trick is to persuade the politicians they are right. Given these times of economic turmoil, they may well have succeeded. The EU has accepted Germany's demand that limits on CO2 emissions not be as rigorously implemented as earlier agreed. The economics minister says that makes sense. Environmentalists are appalled.
Politicians just back down when industry increases the pressure. That sends out the wrong message. The policymakers have to set the agenda. They have to take the lead and not have industry lead them along.
Things once looked so promising. Chancellor Angela Merkel positioned herself as the champion of the environment, and the media lapped it up. She proposed impressive targets, winning international respect. Angela Merkel as the leader of the environmental crusade.
If we do the right thing, save energy and reduce CO2 emissions, we can master the problem.
And now, this week, at their party conference in Stuttgart, the Christian Democrats talked about how to tackle the economic crisis and bring the country out of recession. Climate protection was nowhere near the top of the agenda. Some even dared to say it must not be allowed to harm the economy.
Given the current situation, it cannot be right to impose further constraints on the auto industry in Germany as compared to other countries.
We have gone the farthest and overburdened the German economy and German industry as regards trading emission certificates. Does it now really make sense to accept what Brussels is telling us, especially now?
Climate protection in times of financial crisis? Could we soon see a shift in Angela Merkel's priorities?
Environmental protection is just as important now as it was a year ago. It would be idiotic to declare a major problem to be a minor one, just because another major problem has come into focus.
Tough words from the Chancellor. The young prize winners would no doubt agree. Germany has done a lot for the environment, but there's still a long way to go.